Hey, YouTubers. Scorpion McKillin'it's top 10 movies of all time. We're going to use Voodoo to look these movies up so we can do some screen background and you can see it. So I'm going to start with number 10. Really hard to do this list. Be easier to do a top 100. But then narrowing it down to the top 10, another story. A lot of great movies out this summer. Which I have seen quite a few, and I have a few movies that I have thought about adding to this list, but it's still too early to add them. So our number 10 on the list, and in my opinion, this is the best zombie movie. Zombies are a little out of control, but it's got great acting. In my opinion, a really good plot. Lots of action. And though I grow tired of zombie movies and zombie TV shows at the moment, this did make number 10 because I think it'll last a long time. I had difficulty picking, honestly, between this and I Am Legend. So we went ahead and went with this one just because there is so much more going on. All right. So seeing as Independence Day just happened, and this will probably always be one of my favorite alien movies. Independence Day. This stars Will Smith. Jeff Goldblum's in it as well. Quite a few other people, but those are the main two parts of this movie that make it good. I've always enjoyed this. Watched it a crap ton of times. Highly disappointed that the sequel did not feature Will Smith. Maybe that was a good thing for him, though, because the Men in Black sequels were a total letdown. All right, so that was my number 9. Number 8, I think this is going to surprise some people, but I have watched this freaking movie so many times. We have Face Off, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. Great movie, if you ask me. For its time, 1997. So this movie's over 21 years old. Really enjoyed it. Had difficulty actually picking between this and Con Air. Con Air, I've watched a million times, and probably seen this one a million times, seeing as I'm old enough to see it that many times. Really enjoyable movie. Kind of the peak, I think, of these guys' careers, if you ask me, as far as action goes. Everything else afterwards for Nicolas Cage kind of sucked, unless Con Air came after this. But so that was my number 8 pick. We'll move on. This one actually just popped up on the screen. Now, I can't say that the plot or anything was that great in this movie, but I was so excited back in the day, back in 2007 when they were coming out with this Transformer movie. I've watched it at least 50 times, we'll say. I have nothing better to do than watch movies. And I still enjoy watching it. I think the action is good. The robots, the CG stuff, great. However, the plots have always been weak, which is sad that they completely wrecked something that could have been really good. Definitely, even though I've seen every one of the movies, and I will continue to watch them, whether they're good or bad. Thought the first one was the best one, and deserving of its place here in my list, which is unfortunately pretty much going to be all action movies, I have a feeling, but we'll see. Maybe I will surprise. All right, moving on. Number 6 is a more recent movie. And helps if one learns how to type. All right, Captain America Civil War. I really like this one. It was awesome how they had all those characters in it, and it actually was a good movie where sometimes they put too many of your comic book heroes in it and they ruin it. This obviously has Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and the other folks that are listed there in this one. Will this one stand the test of time and stay in this list? I'm not sure. I have a feeling one of the new Avenger movie might actually take its spot. All right. Number 5, more action. More action and death. I think that's there it is. So I actually recently reviewed this in 4K. Incredible story. Great first half hour, then drags out a little bit, but we'll never forget the first half hour of this movie, and later on it picks up again. But for its time, 1998, 20 years, this 20-year anniversary of this movie. Absolutely incredible movie. If you haven't seen it, one of the best war movies out there, and at least for action and all that good stuff. So that was number 5. All right. So out of this movie, there are a lot of ones to pick from this series, if I can find it. There we go. They have made special editions, all kinds of versions of this. Pretty much sticks to the same format. But this was, this movie's at least 30-some years old now. Still to this day, it is an amazing movie. Sigourney Weaver's one of her best roles. She's been in a lot of movies, but probably the only one I actually care for. Bill Paxton also was in this, bringing some comedy to it. Overall, just incredible. There are a lot of other alien movies that were good, but not good enough for this top 10 list. Moving on. Now, this next movie, I just added the 4-disc set in 4K, and if you watch my top 20 4K Blu-rays, actually I have the digital copy of this. I don't have the 4K Blu-rays, but had I had the 4K Blu-ray disc, this would have been in that list. So Jurassic Park, the first one was the best one. All the others, were just basically copies of the same kind of thing. Jeff Goldblum again. So he's been in this list twice. Sam Neill, director Steven Spielberg. Pretty awesome movie. Great dinosaur action even to this day. And if you get the 4K, I gotta say that I was not super impressed with the picture being that much better. It's a little bit better. Whether it was worth spending a shit ton of money to get the 4K box set, I'm not sure. But I bought the digital codes. Got a hell of a deal on them, so I'm pretty happy with how I got it. But it's just the best dinosaur movie there is, if you ask me. All right, moving on. Now we get into movies I have been watching. Well, the last few movies have been ones that I have watched for a long time. All right, here we go. Another first of series, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I said I watched the one movie a million times. Probably watched this one 2 million times. Incredible. Possibly Harrison Ford's best work, if you ask me. If you're not a Star Wars fan, it definitely is his best work. Once again, Steven Spielberg. Can't get rid of this guy. Incredible movie. Can't say enough about it. If you haven't seen it, I don't know where the hell you've been. You need to watch this one. It is closing in on 40 years. We're at 37 years since this came out. I'm expecting them to put this on 4K one of these days because, that's what people do when they want to make extra money out of an old flick. Plus, I would be pretty happy if they did that. I would probably buy it. All right, so my number one all-time favorite movie, and this shouldn't come to a surprise to everyone. Some people will. Considering the fact that I had no other movies from this series, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. So, Star Wars is a great movie, but I like this one better. I thought by now the cast had really come together. Finding out Darth Vader's Luke's father was incredible. The other aspects of it, the AT-ATs on the battle for Hoth, Luke getting into his first battle with Darth Vader, and just just the action in this movie, freaking amazing. It was technologically an advance from Star Wars, in my opinion. So the other ones are honorable mentions, but where they would fall in my list, they're probably somewhere in the top 30. So that's my list. Everybody's got opinions. This is mine. I'm sure maybe I missed a few movies in there, but these are my favorites of all time. Thanks for checking out my video. Bye.